Ranveer, is that DGMO press conference that happened just a short while ago. Top Director Generals of Military Operations and senior Navy and Air Force officers held a press conference to provide further details about Operation Sindur. Now, in that particular DGMO level press conference and media brief, officers made it quite clear that India's primary objective was to dismantle the terrorist infrastructure, to hit at those terrorist hubs. Pakistan's military chose to protect these elements, forcing India to expand the ambit of its response. The briefing included, of course, a detailed presentation by Air Marshal Bharti, who's also the DG of the Air Operations, showcasing the various targets engaged by the Indian Air Force during Operation Sindur. The top officials showed the debris of a likely PL-15 air-to-air missile which was used by Pakistan during the attack on China. This very well could be a Chinese-acquired Pakistan weapon that was then used to inflict damage and hurt on the Indian side. However, all of those aerial vector threats were neutralized and thwarted. In a rare and capturing moment, during the briefing, Air Marshal A.K. Bharti responded to a journalist's poetic question, not with formal jargon, but with a powerful verse from the Ramcharitmanas.
प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस शुरू होने के ठीक पहले राष्ट्रकवि रामधारी सिंह दिनकर की जो कृष्ण की चेतावनी है उन पंक्तियों को सामने रखा गया और कहा गया कि याचना नहीं रण होगा, जीवन जय या मरण होगा। कल शिव तांडव स्रोत के जरिए दुश्मन को संदेश दिया गया था और आज राष्ट्रकवि रामधारी सिंह दिनकर की इन प्रमुख पंक्तियों के जरिए ये किस तरह के डिटरेंट को क्रिएट किया जा रहा है, किस तरह के मैसेज को दिया जा रहा है, इसको थोड़ा इलेबोरेट करके अगर आप बताएं तो जाहिर तौर पर ये संदेश और व्यापक तौर पर जाएगा।
क्या संदेश दिया जा रहा है? तो मैं बस आपको रामचरितमानस की एक कुछ पंक्ति याद दिलाऊंगा, आप समझ जाएंगे। तो याद कीजिए वो पंक्ति जो है, विनय न माने जलधि जड़, भय 3 दिन बीत, बोले राम सकोप तब, भय बिन होए न प्रीत। तो समझदार के लिए इशारा ही काफी है।
Now, time again, over the course of 2 different DGMO level press conferences, it has been made quite clear that the actual champion of this wrestling bout is our own aerial defense systems. It is the new normal. It is the new age of modern warfare. In this high mobility war, the stakes are certainly higher. That's why surveillance also has to be higher. And over the course of the 2 different press conferences, A.K. Bharti, the Air Marshal, and the Director General of the Air Operations has made it quite clear that our air defense systems, not just the modern ones, but the old battle-hardened, battle-tried and legacy models like the Garud sniper model or, the Pechora systems, they have come in handy as well. What you're looking at right now on your screens is a multi-layered counter-drone and air defense grid. How does this come into action? Because for the longest time, the incursions with those waves of drones and, quadcopters, some armed, some not as armed, the PL-15 missile that we're going to show you very quickly as well. But this is how our air defense system works. We have 4 layers in which our air defense system works. Let me break this down for all our viewers to better understand this diagram, because you've got circles inside circles. Now, first and foremost, our first layer is the counter-drone manipads. Now, what are these manipads? These are these small circles that you see. I mean, of course, it only makes sense if the first layer of defense was this big circle over here, but that's not actually the case. The first layer of defense is how we rectify, and our surveillance mechanisms are actually in place. The soft killing of these targets as well. So our soft kill mechanisms we'll just show you in just a short bit. Stay with me right here. We'll go back to that. We'll go back to that entire diagram. So the first layer of defense is actually these small little balls that you see over here. These are our manipads. This is our surveillance, how surveillance is carried out. The second layer of defense is the short range surface to air missiles, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These 9 circles that you see, the small yellow circles, these are our short range missiles. So after the manipads, they detect the incoming waves of drones. These small little circles come into action. Then you've got the third layer of defense, which is the medium range surface to air missiles. Our medium range surface to air missiles are, of course, when you're looking at these big blue circles over here, these 3 big blue circles. So first up, you've got the manipads, you've got the short range missiles, You've got the long range, the medium range missiles as well. And then finally, the fourth layer is the long range missile, which is the big circle that you see over here. This is our Akash Tir that you can see. It's been named as the Akash Tir. You've heard about the David Sling. You've heard about the Iron Dome in Tel Aviv. This is something like that. If any of these systems misses a particular drone or an incursion, the other one quickly acts up. Now, you'll ask, what are these triangles that you look at here? These little Tir systems, the bow and arrow, quite literally in terms of the diagram. Well, these are our radars. So the first and actual deployment of aerial defense comes from these radars. Then comes the manipads and the counter drone operations, followed by the short range missiles, the medium range missiles, and of course the larger long range missile. This entire ambit and this entire multi-layered grid is why we've been having peaceful nights, and all credit to the aerial defense systems of the tri-forces. All of them played a crucial part, not just the primary Indian Air Force aerial defense systems, but also the Indian Army assets and the Indian Navy assets as well, spread across a stretch of 200 kilometers. Let's take a look at the other slide that we have for you to better understand what these soft kill targets are. So these are our soft kill mechanisms. Like I was saying, you don't need to necessarily engage in kinetic or physical engagement. You don't need to shoot your rocket or your projectile into the air to bring them down. You can just use mere deception. You can use electronic warfare, laser guided electronic warfare that deceives the already input data that has been given to that particular drone or that quadcopter, or the other way around. You instead hide your key installations by way of creating these deceptive and decoy, smoke screens of electric signals. That's the way we soft kill a target as well. But if the soft kill doesn't work, you also have the hard kill. Let's take a look at some of those hard kills. Like I was talking about, physical engagement, direct kinetic response. You've got the Akash system, you've got the Garud sniper, you've got the Pechora, you've got the L-70, the S-400 if nothing works at the end of it all as well. So these are our hard kill and our soft kill targets as well. But in that press conference, more detail was also, of course, given. There was several other details that were given in that press conference. Let's take a look at the other slide that we have for our viewers. This is the Akash system that you see. It is a surface-to-air missile, dismantling anything that's coming our way. We showed you the entire radars, and that's where the Akash system also comes into play. This is part of our medium and short-range missile system as well. From Akash, of course, we've got visuals of what we downed. These are likely PL-15LR air-to-air missiles. And what's interesting here is that these might just be Chinese-acquired Pakistan weapons that we have thwarted, these vector threats, time and again over 3 different layers for several hours. We downed them one by one. This is some of the debris of the missiles that we downed as well. So not just quadcopters, not just unarmed drones, some drones armed as well, but you also had these missiles that were downed as well. But that's not all. We've got some more long-range missiles. These are likely long-range missiles that Air Marshal Bharti was talking about, that Pakistan adversary used everything in its arsenal, and these again very well could be Chinese acquired, is what was told in that press conference as well. But in that press conference, whilst we were asking those questions, News 9's Aditya Rajkaul also put up a stern question in front of the Pakistani media, asking them about the disinformation and the misinformation propaganda. Rauf Asghar, well, according to the evidence that we have, he's been slain and neutralized, but the Pakistani side and the DGISPR is trying to bluff the entire nation as well. Take a look at this quick interaction between Aditya Rajkaul, our colleague, and the DG Air Operations, A.K. Bharti.
Sir, Aditya Rajkaul from TV9 Network. Yesterday, the DGISPR came out with a press conference, and while you have been continuously providing satellite images and proofs, undeniable proof really, of the airstrikes that happened and the damage that is caused, there's no evidence coming in from the other side. What do you think is there? Are they trying to bluff their people? Are they trying to build some kind of a propaganda for the anger that domestically is there in Pakistan? And secondly, related question, you mentioned Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Toiba terrorists. The brother of Maulana Masood Azhar, Rauf Asghar, who was killed. Pakistan DGISPR is trying to build a propaganda where he's saying that Lashkar-e-Toiba, Rauf from Lashkar-e-Toiba was at the entire funeral, but he's saying that he's alive and, they're trying to confuse the people because the two names are similar. The Jaish chief, who is the brother of Maulana Masood Azhar, and the Lashkar guy who was with the Pakistan army at the funeral. So could you clarify what has really happened? Because there is a lot of propaganda and information warfare happening from the Pakistan side. Thank you.
I think the first part of the question you have answered yourself. I need not delve more on it. Why they are doing what they are doing, information is not forthcoming from there. Obviously, that is expected, and they would do whatever it takes to assuage their people and minimize whatever information about the damage comes out. Here, I would like to clarify, as I said yesterday, our fight is with the terrorists. Our fight is not with the Pakistan military or Pakistan civilians. So that is very clear, and we are very clear in our targeting. So coming to the second part of your question as to what media or what propaganda spin the other side is trying to make out a story. Well, it is for them to answer, and it really is not a military question for us to answer here. We've done our job. We have done what we're expected to do, and that is it.
But then again, speculation and social media chatter have been rife with claims that India struck the Mushaf air base in Sargodha, reportedly linked to underground nuclear storage beneath the Kirana Hills using loitering and penetrating munitions. Although Director General of Air Operations, Air Marshal A.K. Bharti, confirmed that the Indian Armed Forces did not target the nuclear facility at Kirana Hills in Pakistan. Listen in. To all our viewers, before we listen in to the DG of the Air Operations, is that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to address the nation at 8 p.m. today. That's the big development. Prime Minister's national address, speaking to his countrymen at 8 p.m. In the meantime, listen in to how the Director General of the Air Operations, Air Marshal A.K. Bharti, confirmed that the Indian Armed Forces actually did not know about the nuclear facility, nor did they target any nuclear facility in Kirana Hills in Pakistan.
So the social media, the Twitter is abuzz with the fact that we hit a site called Kirana Hills, which is supposed to be the nuclear storage facility. And there is a lot of rumors about Sargodha. There are foreign analysts who've mentioned that the Sargodha attack led to certain leaks. Is there a confirmation that we actually hit Kirana Hills, or we were careful of not to do any such thing? Thank you.
Thank you for telling us that Kirana Hill houses some nuclear installation. We did not know about it. Okay. And we've not hit Kirana Hills, whatever is there. Okay. I did not brief in my briefing yesterday. Thank you.
While Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address the nation at 8 p.m. and this announcement coming shortly after the DGMO press conference and after Operation Sindur, India's firm resolve to fight against terror, and there is no need for evidence or proof for any of that global requirements because ostracization of Pakistan at the global level continues. The UNSC 1267 Sanctions Committee meet also supposed to take place just this week. Prime Minister Modi's address to the nation at 8 p.m. My colleague Brijesh Pandey joins us from the newsroom here. Brijesh, help the viewers understand the significance of the timing of such an announcement coming right after Operation Sindur and amidst the slew of these top-level DGMO level press conferences for the media.
Well, Kabir, there are two things. A, first, ever since this conflict broke out, before that, we heard Prime Minister addressing a rally in Bihar saying that we will teach these terrorists a lesson they're not going to forgive in their lifetime. I think what is happening is that, once the hostility began from both sides, from Pakistan's side and India retaliated to it, there has been no address by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So I think today he will address the entire concerns, the concern of the country, concern of citizens, and also concerns of, people who would want to to know straight from the Prime Minister about how this entire thing panned out. There are also, the second thing is that there are doubts about, certain doubts about how this entire ceasefire was arrived at. India has refused to call it a ceasefire, though Donald Trump, President of the United States of America, as well as Secretary of State Mark Rubio has said that they are the one who have brokered the ceasefire. India has steadfastly maintained that this is merely cessation of hostility. It is not a ceasefire. They even went on to say that this is basically, the Operation Sindur is still on and it is not over. And they have given army, the commanders who are manning the front, an absolute free hand to take out a reply to Pakistan in kind and content. You remember the famous, the dialogue which has been doing since yesterday, which is Goli ka jawab Gola se. So one thing is very clear that the Prime Minister would also want to explain about, certain things which the opposition parties are also pressing in. They are calling for a special session of Parliament. They're also calling, they're saying that, why exactly India agreed to indulge into this ceasefire or cessation of hostility when Indian military was clearly had an upper edge. So all of those questions, the Prime Minister is going to address the country to the best of our understanding as we speak at around 8 p.m. today. And this is something which, everyone will look forward to understand how it panned out. We heard the military side since yesterday about how the Indian Army, Indian Air Force and Naval ensured that, that the air bases of Pakistan was dealt a body blow, and this forced Pakistan to look for truce. The Prime Minister is most likely to explain the political side of this entire Operation Sindur. Kabir?
Political side of Operation Sindur, Brijesh, but it seems to be another smart move by the Prime Minister because, like you rightly pointed out, the opposition asking for Prime Minister's, attendance at one of those, special sessions to be convened, and that the Prime Minister was absent from the previous all-party meet as well. I think in one stroke, he's going to be able to talk to the entire nation and, of course, quell all those opposition queries of Prime Minister's so-called quote-unquote absence.
Well, I think, the Prime Minister isn't worried about the, the absent part of the all-party meet. But one thing he knows that, that there's not, there is a degree of chatter about, the sudden announcement of ceasefire, how America ceasefire it, did America broker this ceasefire, why India, allowed this decisive military advantage and went for cessation of hostility. There are questions which are doing the round, and Prime Minister knows, being the astute politician he is, he understands that the entire narration needs the clarity, beyond a shadow of doubt. Otherwise, the opposition, he feels that opposition parties might be able to, spread a narrative which can be inimical to BJP's interest. I think the main motive of this particular press, this address to nation would be to bring the country up to date about, what has been done. And I think it will be more about revealing the political resolve behind carrying out an exercise of this enormity. Kabir?
Brijesh, an obiter dicta on this very conversation as well. I know that it is sensitive, but we will have to wait for the Prime Minister's address at 8 p.m. But needless to say, the political, mills have sort of started churning out Operation Sindur as well. Sambit Patra, conducted a press conference. Jairam Ramesh has been, speaking against the dispensation for the last 2 days now. So needless to say, now that the Operation Sindur dust is settled, needless to say, it is still ongoing, clearly mentioned by our armed forces as well. But now the political churning has also begun, in hindsight and in behind the doors and behind the scenes.
Oh, absolutely. And I think this is the reason why, we heard that BJP has done a big meeting as far as Operation Sindur is concerned. And I think most of these office bearers have been given this task of making sure that the real message of Operation Sindur, the valor of the armed forces, the decisiveness, the political decisiveness, exhibited by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, all of this should reach the common man on the ground. And this is the reason why, the BJP is going to start a slew of press conferences to bolster home or drive home the point that, that it was a strong, decisive leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi coupled up with, with the capabilities of our tri-services, which ensured that it inflicted big damage to Pakistan's air capability. The party also understands that the way Congress is targeting the BJP and the way there's a talk about, the suddenness with which this cessation of hostility was announced. They know that they cannot allow any kind of narrative to gain ground which goes against the interest of the Bharatiya Janata Party. So it's going to be a twin-pronged approach. First, the Prime Minister addressing the nation, and also the BJP BJP planning to do, press conferences, reaching out, telling their voters and everybody about the exact reason why this cessation of hostility was announced. Kabir?
Yep, and why not? I mean, the Bharatiya Janata Party, being a political party, will try to buttress that point as well. The sophistication with which the entire operation was carried out in POK, in Pakistan, our retaliation to their escalation, the way with which it has happened, and how India's entire resolve, be it our aerial defense systems, be it the air raid sirens, the mock drills, the entire, sophistication of it all. And finally, it is going to be converted and transformed into political dividends. I mean, who's to say? It's a political party. They will do what they have to.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, people should be smart enough to understand or make the distinction between the government and the political party. The government is, what the government has taken a decision, but they are also alert to the possibility, there's election, state assembly election in Bihar in 4-5 months from now. And no party would want to, no party who's forming, who's the government, who's the government at the center would want any kind of narrative which is counter to the assertion which has been made by their top brass gain ground. And that is the reason why they would want to set the record straight. I think Prime Minister would not only focus on the political side, but he would also talk about the valor of the armed forces. He would also talk about, how this entire operation was planned, why it was codenamed Operation Sindur, how this was seen as an attempt to take revenge against all those women, who lost their loved ones, as also their husbands in this dastardly attack in Pahalgam. So I think, a lot of personal, a lot of, I would say, providing balm to those who have suffered heavy personal losses in this, very cowardly terror attack at Pahalgam. Kabir?
All right. Brijesh Pandey bringing us the latest developments. Brijesh, it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of implications will this now have on the upcoming elections, but all eyes now on the 8 p.m. national address by the Prime Minister right after Operation Sindur and after the DGMO level press conference as well. Many thanks, Brijesh, for joining us here on the broadcast. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's national address to his countrymen at 8 p.m. today. Watch on News 9 to bring you all the latest details. In the meantime, India has, of course, once again exposed the unholy alliance of the Pakistani army and the terrorist organizations. During a media interaction just on Sunday, the DGMO shared striking details about a funeral held in Pakistan's Muridke, visuals on your screens. The DGMO said that India has identified Pakistan army officers who participated in the funeral of Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists who were killed in Operation Sindur. Few officers close to Pakistan Army Chief General Asim Munir attended the funeral of these terrorists. Some of the names of key Pakistani military and other leaders who were in attendance include Lieutenant General Fayaz Hussain Shah, Corps Commander of the 4th Corps in Lahore, Major General Rao Imran Sartaj, GOC 11 Infantry Division, Brigadier Muhammad Furqan Shabbir, Commander 15 Hybrid Mechanized Brigade, Dr. Usman Anwar, Inspector General of the Police of Punjab in Pakistan, Malik Shoaib Ahmad, Member of the Provincial Assembly in Punjab. And videos from the funeral showed Lashkar-e-Toiba Commander Abdul Rauf, a specially designated global terrorist by the US Treasury, leading prayers for the deceased, draped in the Pakistani national flag, whilst flanked by military officers on both sides. India has said that the evidence will be provided to international community to prove the unholy nexus, which India has long been talking about.
आप ये तस्वीर देखिए, ये तस्वीर कोई साधारण तस्वीर नहीं है। यह तस्वीर है उन आतंकवादियों का जिनका जनाजा निकला। और इस तस्वीर में मैं दिखाना चाहूंगा कि ये जो खड़ा है सामने व्यक्ति, इस व्यक्ति का नाम है, ये एलईटी का कमांडर है, लश्कर तैयबा का कमांडर है अब्दुल रऊफ। अब्दुल रऊफ जो खुद एक स्पेशली डेजिग्नेटेड ग्लोबल टेररिस्ट, जिसको यूएस के ट्रेजरी बेंच ने डेजिग्नेट कर रखा है, अमेरिका के ट्रेजरी बेंच ने इसे आतंकवादी घोषित कर रखा है, वह सामने खड़ा है जनाजे में। और उसके पीछे जो खड़े हैं, मैं एक एक करके नाम पढ़ता हूं, लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल फैयाज हुसैन शाह जो कि लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल है पाकिस्तान आर्मी के, मेजर जनरल राव इमरान सरताज जो कि मेजर जनरल है पाकिस्तान आर्मी के, ब्रिगेडियर मोहम्मद फुरकान शब्बीर पाकिस्तान आर्मी के, डॉक्टर उस्मान अनवर आईजीपी पंजाब और मलिक सोहेब अहमद बर्थ मेंबर ऑफ प्रोविंशियल असेंबली ऑफ पंजाब, ये बड़े बड़े लोग तथाकथित सरकार के बड़े बड़े लोग पाकिस्तान के आतंकवादियों के जनाजा में शामिल होने आए हैं और जनाजे को लीड कर रहा है एक आतंकवादी, डेजिग्नेटेड आतंकवादी।
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's address to the nation at 8 p.m. today, ladies and gentlemen, all eyes on what the Prime Minister will have to say, of course, on the backdrop of Operation Sindur and India's strong resolve against fighting global terrorism. Prime Minister Modi to address India at 8 p.m. today. Meanwhile, in the aftermath of the India-Pakistan tensions and the ceasefire that we have sort of arrived at, Indian aviation and Indian carriers are back in the skies. Just hours after the ceasefire understanding was reached between Pakistan and India, the Indian government announced the reopening of 32 airports that had been shut down amid escalating hostilities. For all of you out there, can check for your local and nearby airport whether it's functioning or not. All the 32 airports, especially in the border areas that were shut down, those notums have, of course, been rescinded. The temporary closures had been in place since India's precision strikes deep inside Pakistan during Operation Sindur, with concerns over drones and missile threats prompting the move. The Airports Authority of India has now confirmed that regular civil operations can resume with immediate effect. Air travelers are advised to check up with the airlines for updates, as more than 300 daily flights were impacted during the shutdown, including over 160 from the Indigo air carrier alone. India had acted quickly last week to prevent civilian risk in sensitive zones near the Western Front. Now, with airspace reopening, a return to normalcy seems on the radar. No times have been cancelled. Civil aviation back in the skies. Radars working finally. 32 airports resume functions with immediate effect.